Hello, hello. We are SOS Music. We're an LA-based record label, radio show, and music collective. My name is Maddy Maia. I'm a LA-based, London-born producer, DJ, radio host. I'm also A&R for iconic British indie label Ninja Tune Records.
Hi, my name's Lottie, or better known behind the decks as Tottie. I'm a DJ, producer, and I also work for historic radio station Dublab. I'm their events and special projects director. And we're actually here at Dublab today, which is amazing to be here.
Happy to be here. Thank you, Dolby, for having us. Tottie and I moved to Los Angeles in 2017.
Yes.
We met through friends in the music industry. Both of us are from indie electronic backgrounds. Myself having gone up through independent labels in London, and Lottie being in Barcelona, DJing clubs, venues, rooftops, wherever there. We instantly fell in love, it's
Yes.
fair to say, over our admiration for underground world music, really. We started playing together really pretty much when we moved here.
Yeah, around about 2018, we started DJing together. And then actually, last year, we kind of started working more on a curatorial level. We curated, it was actually the first collaboration between Ninja Tune and Dublab. We did LACMA's Muse Till Midnight event where we saw the likes of Actress and Yusu and Juliana Barwick and Octa play in the historic galleries, and it was kind of the first time that we had done something kind of that scale together, and it really was the kind of catalyst for us to work together on other projects, and actually launching SOS Music, the label, was sort of like the natural step in our next kind of
phase.
Yeah,
I think it's unusual when you meet someone with such a unique love of very underground music, particularly in Los Angeles at the time. We didn't know that many people here. We were from sort of very European influenced backgrounds.
Yeah.
So yeah, it just really kind of fell into place. I think both of us have always loved to curate and explore and also support more diverse underground talent. So SOS Music, the label, was really birthed out of that. It was about, wanting to give new artists and artists that we just love more of a platform and more of a voice in the Los Angeles music scene.
Yeah. And we were here every single Wednesday for up until the pandemic, working on this and trying to come up with ideas and who we'd want to have on this compilation. And obviously Maddy works with Ninja Tune, and I'm working here at Dublab, and seeing so many artists coming through these doors every day. We really wanted to kind of do something new, and that's kind of where the label came from.
It was birthed.
Yeah.
I've been a bedroom producer for a long time. I think, again, growing up with DJs when I was younger. I'm from Brighton originally, which had a really amazing kind of break scene at the time, drum and bass, all of these sort of really influential, important cultural happenings in electronic music in the UK. We both are sort of from a bit of a rave culture and background, I suppose. So I've always been a keen producer, very much bedroom. I think when I first entered the music industry, my confidence as a woman, it's fair to say, was fairly low in terms of really getting my voice heard. I didn't have the confidence to trust my own taste or to really put myself forward as an artist. I think when Lottie and I started DJing together over here again, we both love to DJ and have been DJing for years on and off in various underground parties all over Europe, and it really kind of was only moving here and understanding just how much exciting music is coming out from all sorts of places, not just London, where I was very stuck in my own head there.
Yeah.
So the bedroom production turned into more non-bedroom production. We started sharing ideas together. Lottie's been an amazing soundboard for my production side. She's also the voice of the project.
Thank you.
I
appreciate that.
Sexy Spanish vocals.
We've definitely got bringing different things to the table. You know, I'm a classically trained musician. I played the piano for years. I sung in cathedral girls choirs for years. And then you obviously with the production side of things, it's really kind of made this, like, forged this great kind of friendship and partnership.
When we started looking at the artists that when we decided we wanted to put together a compilation, you know, I think it's really taken us aback, the quality of the artists and also just the music that was put forward for it. And I think that was the point where we really started taking SOS music seriously. We were very blown away by just the quality of the artists and the quality of the tracks that came back, and it just felt super coherent, the way the record progresses, and it almost felt like there was a little bit of luck in that, and just, you know, how, you know, the different artists obviously have so many strings to their bow sonically, and we just happened to get this really perfectly succinct record as our first.
I think it was our good curatorial style as well.
Of course, of course.
And our eyes, you know, just seeing so much going on in LA and here was really beneficial to what we were able to kind of put forward for the label, and also, you know, what we want to showcase going into the next few releases as well.
So by default, we're both A&Rs in a sense.
Yeah.
I think it's fair to say, and I think really, you know, we started noticing a community of international artists that we really loved spring up in LA.
Yeah.
That was the inspiration behind the release. You know, Lottie, maybe you could talk a little bit about this, but, you know, we're both avid supporters of, you know, pushing female and non-binary talent just because of our backgrounds, where we're from.
And what we believe in as well, and where we've been kind of pushing forward for the last few years, working with people like She Said So, and that's really been a focus for us, that we wanted to amplify those voices. And everyone that came back on the compilation just kind of, it just fitted perfectly.
Yeah, and it felt right. And I think it's, you know, it's an agenda that we're super keen to just continue the narrative with more than ever now. It's not going anywhere, you know, and it's not about, we're not pushing it down people's throats with this release. It just happens to be that our favorite producers right now are female and non-binary, and that's, you know, it's part of it. It's by any means not, you know, a kind of exclusive release in that sense. Yeah. It's part of the story. You know, I think all of the artists that we have on the compilation, all 14 of them, are saying something really different with their music. They're pushing boundaries sonically.
Yeah.
They are, you know, hugely influential in their own scenes, be that kind of club culture or more using analog gear, whatever, or
more experimental film, you know. Some of the producers on the compilation, you know, are composers and also, you know, write film scores and are doing lots of different things other than, you know, just making electronic music. So it's a really, really diverse and interesting group of artists that we have.
So SOS Music Volume 1 is the debut release by SOS Music. It's a 14-track compilation focusing on forward-thinking electronic artists from around the world, with also an emphasis on female and non-binary talent. We have artists including Roxy Moore, Violet, Fang,
Laura Sarkissian, Morale, Marsha,
Minimal Violence. It's an incredible selection of artists that are all really doing something different sonically at the moment, and we are absolutely thrilled with the reaction from the press and from friends alike. It's a beautiful project, it's a beautiful release. We can't wait for you guys to check it out. It's in collaboration with the legendary Berlin-based K7 Music. They're responsible behind DJ Kicks, which anybody in electronic music will know about. They're amazing. It's also in collaboration with Dublab, who have helped curate this release, which Lottie can maybe say a little bit about.
Yeah, I think we've obviously got a few of our Dublab residents involved in this compilation. So SOS Music Volume 1 is also going to be available in Dolby Atmos, which will be available on Tidal and Amazon HD, which is super exciting. It's one of the many releases that Dolby Atmos has coming out, but I feel like it's very much on the left field electronic side of things. So we're very, very proud to have this as part of Atmos's roster. I think when we, started talking to you guys, we really wanted to provide the tools to these artists, especially during this time where, there isn't clubs and there isn't other thing, the touring aspect. And so I feel like it's something that people can really get their hands into and start, listening in different ways and seeing how they can create these amazing soundscapes and environments. And it just adds another dimension to the compilation. And, for us, we want to move forward as much as possible using Dolby Atmos and using the tools that you guys have provided for us. We really think it's incredibly important now to create something different, and having so many of our artists on the compilation super excited about this opportunity, and really want to explore and see what they can do and use the tools, because it is really user friendly. And I think that there's going to be a lot of exciting things coming through past this, not just from what we provided with them, where they can then go off and try new things and add that as part of their repertoire. Very excited to have Masha. This is her first release on our compilation, and she's obviously been, a heavyweight in LA's underground community for a very long time. She started Dig Deeper with Alison Swing in 2014. She has done, she's DJ'd all over, and I'm so excited to see her coming through as a producer on our compilation, and to also, have her involved in Atmos. And she's super excited as well, and is very much learning and discovering, and it's great. The other person who is also another Dublab resident is an artist called Morale. She has an amazing background musically. She takes a lot of inspiration from her Persian heritage, and that's very much intertwined in her music. She makes, incredible beats, and she's really doing amazing things right now.
She just had a release on Leaving Records as well. You should check it out if you're not. It's unbelievable. She's kind of blends all sorts of Iranian folk and classical music. She's a very, very special artist. We heard of Session Romantica, which is our track on the compilation. It blew my mind. Having not been in a nightclub for multiple months, I think, there was an additional emotional reaction to hearing this, this track that we'd spent so long working on in my studio, and it was like virtually entering a club. I think right now this is so important to have this additional experience, to hear the drums behind me, and the synths kind of all over the place. It's like you're almost being enveloped in the music. It's really incredible, and I think right now there isn't that much stimulation in people's lives, or experiencing music other than in your home sound system. And so to have this additional platform hearing our track like that for the first time was a very emotional, beautiful thing.
Yeah, we were really kind of blown away by what it sounded like. I don't think we were expecting it to sound like that, but it did. It was amazing. I think that, you know, when you use those tools, you can really kind of get into this space and allow yourself to create in a different way than you would normally when you're normally producing. I think that the sound, having those sound move around you, and it allows I think the artist to really kind of get into an even more of a creative like mold with the track that they're making. Something that, you know, I never had experienced before, and so I feel like it's really allowed artists to delve deeper into their tracks, to create in a way that they hadn't necessarily been before, and also logistically and kind of on the technical side of things. You know, you can be, you know, traveling and you have the binaural aspect, you can use your headphones, you don't have to be in a studio anymore, and it's super portable, and I think that's really important, because, you know, before, when people were touring, you know, there wasn't much time to, you know, be creating, but if you were on the road and you were wanting to create, you can do that now. You don't have to be sitting in your studio, and I think that is something that is really, really incredible.
And just to add to that as well, I think the idea, you know, especially in electronic music in our world, the idea of having space in tracks is a huge narrative, right? It's all about that in production. And actually, I was discussing this with LCY FKA Lucy, who has an amazing track on a compilation about creating space in tracks, and we're both very into that as producers. And I think, you know, we were talking about how exciting that is for Dolby Atmos, because it's taking that idea and kind of, you know, emphasizing it and exaggerating it, and, you know, the textures and the richness you're able to create, and the sort of additional dimensions to what could be a really, you know, linear track. You know, it's a super exciting thing. I think, you know, as a producer, I create around space. It's about providing that, and you know, my production is quite kind of, I suppose, simple in a way, and so it's definitely going to be influencing how I start tracks almost, you know, even from the drums to the bass, and then adding and making sure there's room. I think, you know, it's an amazing tool, and it's not very often that something comes along where, you know, it changes your thought process when you're creating. And I think that's something really magical, and something that so many of these artists on our compilation are excited about. I think Lara Sarkisian particularly, she is very into composing soundscape scoring, so her track lends itself perfectly to this new experience. They're all going to be incredible in their different ways, because, you know, the compilation is so diverse. But I think she's particularly excited about this. Hinako Amori as well. Her track Dopamine, she also was, you know, she works it with a lot of analog synths, and, you know, she's very in that world too, and she was really excited about that, and, you know, having that changing and the movement has allowed her to like explore a lot more of what she's doing as well. So, you know, there's definitely a few artists that were kind of blown away by it. We have decided to donate the proceeds to 3 different funds that are very close to our heart. As mentioned, Lottie and I have an avid interest in supporting female non-binary talent, charities, promoting that area of our work. There's obviously so much going on in the world right now. It was very difficult to decide where we wanted to support. We nailed it down to 3 different charities and causes. All are very important. The first being the Downtown Women's Shelter, which is a local charity. You know, it's local to LA. We're working with Dublab on this release, who are also a local Los Angeles radio station. Also another non-profit. The Downtown Women's Center single-handedly are one of the only platforms to specifically help female and youth affected by severe homelessness. They do a lot of very amazing ground level grassroots work in Los Angeles. I've worked with them on other big charity projects. They're an incredible organization. It's focused towards empowering and giving women who have been affected by homelessness the tools necessary to build their lives in a sustainable way.
And everyone knows that here in Los Angeles and also in other parts of the United States, homelessness is a real problem, and we have to help as much as we can. And even through our music, we hope that we can lend a hand in some way. The second charity that we are going to be working with and will be donating the proceeds of the compilation to is the Transgender Law Center. This is a non-profit based out of San Francisco. They work heavily with transgender rights, and we obviously feel very, very strongly about that, and we want to support as much as possible.
And then finally, a more, I suppose, kind of larger focus worldwide, something again that's very close to Lottie and I's hearts is the Women's Refugee Commission. They are 30 years deep with their work in areas of conflict. They work quite specifically on women and youth again that have been affected by conflict and crisis, with an emphasis on sexual violence, sexual health, reproductive health. Really important charity and cause. They've worked in all sorts of areas of conflict, from Pakistan to Afghanistan to Croatia. It's worldwide. They are a very, very long, well-established charity that possibly have never had the platform or the publicity that they deserve, I think, with their work. So we're really excited about helping in any way we can with them as well.
Yeah.
The compilation is international to its core, it's fair to say. We have artists from everywhere, including Serbia, Canada, Japan,
UK, Ireland.
Yeah, France, Germany. It's a really special release in that sense, and we really, both being foreigners living in Los Angeles, we really wanted to kind of promote and provide a platform for showcasing just artists from different places around the world and their influence in the Los Angeles underground music scene,
as well as the local heroes.
Exactly. We are SOS Music. Please check out our debut release, SOS Music Volume 1, available right now in Dolby Atmos.